The Panama Canal, Garry Kasparov, and Multiple Man are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is November 9th, 2021. It is the 313th day of the year. There are 52 days left in 2021. It is the 45th Tuesday in the 46th week and the 49th day of fall. We got 42 days left until winter and 19 days left until Hanukkah. Today is World Freedom Day. World Freedom Day is a federal observance commemorating the fall of the Berlin Wall. The day commemorates the end of communism in Eastern and Central Europe and was designated in 2001 by President George W. Bush. It was created to celebrate the reunification of loved ones separated by the Iron Curtain and differing ideologies, and ultimately served to acknowledge that the resolve of the masses can shift boundaries, break unfavorable resolutions, and ultimately determine the type of leadership they desire so that they can live freer and in a more fair society. This was a big deal when this actually ended. I was going to be stationed in Germany for the military, and all this was happening about that time, and they gave me the option to choose another duty station since mine was getting reduced before I even got there. All right. Let's see what else November 9th has given us. 1906, Teddy Roosevelt is the first sitting president of the United States to make an official trip outside the country. He did so to inspect the progress of the Panama Canal. This was a big deal. Not a lot of people these days realize how big a deal the Panama Canal is and was back then, especially when it comes to shipping. I mean, that cut the time down in half to get something from, let's say, Europe to the West Coast or to Japan or something like that. Most people don't know that the United States didn't start the Panama Canal. It had been going on for centuries before. In 1534, Charles V, Holy Roman Empire King of Spain, ordered a survey to be done to see if this could actually happen. In 1668, the English looked into it. In 1788, Thomas Jefferson suggested the Spanish should do this since they had so many colonies in Peru and different parts of the world. This would help them out a lot. There was a couple other attempts, but then the French actually started construction in 1881, and this went on till about 1894. Then around 1900, the United States got involved. They decided this was a good idea for everyone, and they wanted to really make an effort into building a canal across Central America. They originally were going to go through Nicaragua and this big lake they got there that I can't pronounce. The French had a partially dug canal in Panama, and they offered to sell the rights to what they have done and everything for $100 million, but the United States came back and said, nah, we're going to go through Nicaragua. You're on your own. They finally accepted $40 million for the rights to all the stuff they had done so far, and the Nicaragua plan was scrapped. I've seen the Panama Canal, and it is impressive. I was all around there when I was in the military. And I actually plan on going back in 2023 to go through it on a cruise ship. Yes, going as a tourist this time, not a sweaty American soldier. The whole Nicaragua Canal isn't dead, though. The Chinese actually revived it back around 2014 and started doing some work on it, but they've run into all kinds of problems with how many people are displaced by the canal, and Amnesty International got involved, so they've made very little progress on that one. The Panama Canal in recent years has expanded. They've added other extensions onto it so they can accommodate bigger ships. It's really an impressive thing. Here's an interesting fact. How many people died during the French and U.S. construction of the Panama Canal? Always interesting when you find out how many people died building something like this. 5,609 people died of disease and accidents during the U.S. construction period. Of those, 4,500 were West Indian workers. About 350 were white Americans that died during the construction. Now here's where it gets really weird. It is estimated about 28,000 workers actually died during the French and the American construction. The French didn't really keep records, and a lot of the people that worked on it were slaves back in the 1800s, used by other countries, not so much the United States or anything like that. But yeah, that's what they figure. Probably around 28,000 people died. In total, they figure about 75,000 workers worked on the canal through all the construction. 1907, the Cullinan Diamond is presented to King Edward VII on his birthday. This is a giant chunk of glass. It's over 3,000 carats, and it's about the size of a golf ball, and it's a single diamond. If you want to see it now, it's on the Queen's crown, so if she ever takes a picture with her crown on, it's right there in the center, right above her forehead. 1913, the Great Lakes Storm of 1913. This was the most destructive natural disaster ever to hit the Great Lakes. It reached its greatest intensity after beginning 2 days earlier. The storm destroys 19 ships and kills more than 250 people. 1953, Cambodia gains independence from France. 1985, Garry Kasparov, who was 22 at the time, of the Soviet Union, becomes the youngest world chess champion by beating fellow Soviet Anatoly Karpov. 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall. East Germany opens up all checkpoints, allowing citizens to travel to West Berlin and East Berlin if you wanted to. Most people didn't want to head the east direction. They just wanted to come west. This reunified tons of family that were separated when the Soviet Union just shut down the border. They built barbed wire and they had gates and everything like that. And then just one day, without warning, they just shut it down. If you ever want to read some interesting stuff, look up online the different ways people made it across and all the different things they did just to get across this border. How many people got shot and killed by the East German and Russian soldiers that were guarding the wall. Years ago, I watched this story about this guy that was pretty young. I think he was like 19. He flew an ultralight plane over the border at night, landed in a park, picked up his brother, and flew back. This is like instant death. If they see you doing this, they would have killed you on the spot back then. 1998, a U.S. federal judge orders the largest civil settlement in American history, and it orders 37 U.S. brokerage houses to pay more than $1.03 billion to cheated NASDAQ investors to compensate for their price fixing. 2018, The Girl in the Spider's Web. This was a reboot or like a sequel to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's about a computer hacker journalist who gets involved with all kinds of spies and cyber criminals and corrupt government officials. Very interesting thriller. The first one, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, was a great movie. When I was working at Netflix, we'd get these calls all the time about the DVD. So it's a hacker, and if you watch the movie, you understand she's got these discs. They're written on with Sharpie. Well, when they came out with the DVD for release that, you give out to people, it looked like one of those discs. Like it didn't have the official Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It looked like it was written in Sharpie. If you look close enough, you could see like the company's logo and everything like that. It was a legit video. It just looked like it was copied at your house or something. We would get calls all the time. I got one gentleman, older gentleman, yelling at me. He goes, "I don't know what kind of cut rate business you're running there, but this is theft. I'm alerting the authorities and I'm calling the company. You're just copying videos when you should be purchasing them. This is theft and it's piracy." He just went on. And I'm all, "Sir, look at the video. Watch the movie and you'll get it." And it took about 5 minutes for him to somewhat understand, but I could tell he wasn't giving in. He's all, "Well, I'm going to check into this." All right, whatever. I love people. Born on November 9th, 1972, Eric Dane. He's an actor best known for playing the role as Dr. Mark McSteamy Sloan on the hit television show Grey's Anatomy. He was cast as Tom Chandler on The Last Ship, and in 2019 began starring in HBO's Euphoria, which is a pretty good series. Haven't watched the whole thing through. I think I'm about halfway through. I've watched like 5 episodes. My favorite thing he ever appeared in was X-Men Last Stand. He played this really cool superhero, or supervillain actually, named Multiple Man. He's a guy that could split into 2, 3, 4, 5, just have all these clones. Really interesting character, so much so, James Franco wanted to play him in his own movie, and they were talking about it, and they were going through all the motions of getting it done back in 2017. I don't know what's happened since then. Interesting character, though. Died on November 9th, 2015, Andy White passes away. Do you know who Andy White is? Most people don't. He is a drummer who replaced Ringo Starr for a short period of time and performed on the songs Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. So the manager didn't like Pete Best, who was the original drummer. Didn't like his style. The Beatles didn't like him because he was very good looking and all the female fans just wanted to see Pete Best. So they got Ringo Starr, and the manager didn't like Ringo Starr because he felt that he sounded different and a little weird, and that's because Ringo Starr's actually left-handed, but like me, in his case, the grandmother, but the nuns forced me to be right-handed. Back in the day, they did this to us. Anyway, so Ringo Starr got a right-handed drum set when he was very young, and that's what he learned on. So he continued to get right-handed drum sets because that's what he became comfortable with. And so his drumming is very unique and sounds a little different. I'm not a drummer. I don't know how all that works. I'm just going off of an interview I saw with Ringo Starr about this situation. Anyway, Andy White died after a stroke in Caldwell, New Jersey on November 9th, 2015 at the age of 85. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, be nice to each other.